voices of the world unite.
I was thinking it's time for a new promo. I need somebody really important within the walls of Spreaker. Someone who stands out. Maybe has a little pull. Oh, hey, Don.
You're listening to the King of All Dorks, broadcasting from his lavish studio apartment in Clarksville, Tennessee, with an ocean view. This is Don Landworth. Join us on the Chris Top program in the chat on Spreaker.com.
Oh, that was great, Don. But do you have any ideas on who I could get from Spreaker to help me do a promo? Somebody really important.
This is Donald Landworth, the free COO.
Hey, Don, are you okay?
Join me and my friends in the chat on the Chris Top program on Spreaker.com.
The Chris Top program burns more calories than setting a fat kid on fire.
Take it from the top.
Go!
Listen up, Central Florida. Looking for entertainment for your next children's party? Then we have the entertainment for you. From Jesse the Clown and Friends. That's right, we said it. Jesse the Clown and Friends. Enjoy face painting, balloon animals, magic shows, plus so much more. Let Jesse and Friends entertain your next birthday party. For more information, check out www.jesseclown.com. Again, that is www.jesseclown.com, or call 407-319-1983 and let them know that 102.DLG Radio FM sent you. What are you waiting for? Call them now!
This is iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move.
When you have a great melody,
A song can last forever.
Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes boom.
iHeartRadio is the way I get to you.
The biggest song, the biggest artist,
All in one place.
iHeartRadio.
I'll see you there.
It's now time for the weekly rundown with your host, DJ Friction. The Professor, Michael Benson. Yeah, 102.DLG Radio. We are broadcasting live on this very special Tuesday night. And you're locked into the weekly rundown with your truly DJ Friction. And joining me, as always, are my partners in crimes. There are more trouble than the trouble that I am, I bring to you Professor Michael Benson and Kevin the Iceman Tapey. How are you gentlemen doing at this very special evening?
Very good, very good.
I'm doing so well I can't stand it right now. I'm just, I'm the king of all dorks.
Oh,
so
boy.
happy I could just shit.
You know what? I really enjoy listening to the part that leads up to us coming on the air. That's priceless material, man. I'm sorry, but that's great stuff.
Hold on one second. Hey, can you hear Professor?
Yo, Diddley.
Yeah, I can hear him. He sounds like he's sitting in the next room, but I can hear him.
Wait a minute. That's not good. Hold on a second.
Can you hear me now?
Hold on a second. We're going to try to fix that because that's not good for him to be sounding like that right now. So, anyways, I'm going to get you fixed up. So, hey, Kevin, so how are you feeling, my friend? Are you feeling any better at the moment? Because I know you were sick.
Yeah, last Wednesday I went to bed and I felt fine. Woke up in the middle of the night and felt like garbage and proceeded to lose 8 pounds over the next 24 hours. So, yeah, I don't know what it was. Who knows? But I feel better now. I feel, good.
Awesome. And what about you, Mike? How are you feeling, my bud? I know you've been going through a lot of crap and all that nonsense, too, so...
Well, I came off all the antibiotics. Now I'm at the antibiotic overload letdown period where your body just feels like it's run down, but...
Hold on. Move the microphone closer to your mouth for a second. There you go. Now I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, honey. Yeah.
You fixed it?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So anyways, when you come off antibiotics, sometimes it will run your system down because it depletes your white count and your red count. So I'm at that period. It'll start feeling better tomorrow. Probably the next day. I'll probably be back to normal, I think.
You normal?
As normal as I can be.
I know. I'm just playing. Alright, so it's been a very interesting week in general. We had some craziness happen a couple of days ago over on... we had some craziness happen over on JustCast the other day. But I'm not going to get into it. But if this person decides to show up, then that'll be a whole different story. And we'll take it from there. But as of right now, we're just going to keep continuing with the show. And just get started. Alright, so I guess I'm going to go ahead and start it off. Just so you guys know, if any of you guys are going to be tuning into the very special broadcast we got coming up on this coming October the 30th through the 31st, we're going to be doing a 24-hour live broadcast. We're going to sit back, have some fun, have some music playing, and maybe if you guys decide you want to drop by through the broadcast, you guys are just welcome to call in. If you want to stop in or whatever, you guys are welcome to.
Sweet.
But yeah, man, it's going to be a lot of fun. I love doing 24-hour broadcasts, and it's going to be interesting.
Awesome.
Very interesting.
I'd like to drop in.
Yeah, Bruce, I know Bruce, he's going to join us. He's going to do maybe an hour or two of his own broadcasting on our network. So that'd be kind of awesome to hear, to kind of see him join us for a little bit. Also, too, I got some good news. He says he's going to send us some beer. Because he brews.
Maybe I need to come down for that then.
Microbrew.
Yeah, he brews his own beer, which is really cool. So he said he's going to send a couple bottles this way so we can do some bottle tasting.
Now that would be cool because that was a successful show for us. All the beer tasting we did. That was awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately Mike couldn't hang, but it's all good.
Yeah, well, lightweight.
Probably the least likely lightweight of the three of us would be me.
It's okay.
It comes a hole in my lip.
Well, speaking of which, we gotta go play some pool, Mike.
You're on.
But I heard you're a shark.
I throw darts very well too. I throw those professionally.
Let's put it this way: if it's a bar sport, Mike is good at it.
Oh, okay.
I was a bar rat. I grew up as a bar rat. So.
I mean, his dad owned a bar. We always went out on Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, played pool, played darts. And Mike's the man when it comes to pool and darts. I'm telling you, he's a shark.
Yeah, watch out for him,
Well, my stepdad owned my mom, and I had part ownership in that too. So we owned the sports bar in Jacksonville, but my dad in New Orleans owned nightclubs in New Orleans and ran lounges and everything else. So I've been around it all my life.
I had to watch out for Shakira because she was trying to cheat playing pool.
Was she?
Oh yes. I was like, who taught you how to play pool that way? I said, that's not how you play pool.
She's slick.
You played 8-ball or 9-ball?
8-ball.
8-ball.
Yeah. So, and she was like, we're calling pockets, you know, for the final shot. She was like, but you didn't say it was that pocket. I said, yeah, I did. You're just not freaking listening. She just gave me a hard time about it. But I said, yeah, but it's okay. I said we're all gonna get together. We gotta go all play pool together. Probably take a Tuesday off and just go hang out and just chill.
You play 3-ball? You know how to play 3-ball?
No, I never played with 3 balls. Do you do this?
Played 2 balls, huh?
Do you do like this?
Juggling act.
Yeah. Kevin, see, you're horrible, man. I can't take you anywhere.
I know. I'm just saying. You know.
Y'all are both bad because.
Uh-oh, Shakira says, what? Are you in trouble now, Mike?
Yeah, well.
I'll teach you one day, Shakira, when you're ready. I'll teach you how to play 3-ball.
And knows how to play pool.
I think she's pretty good at playing with balls. I think she's good in that aspect.
Pretty good in that aspect? Didn't come from me, Shakira.
Kevin, what's wrong?
Be careful there. She's warning you. Be careful.
She said, no, I won 2 games out of 4. She says, and I was not cheating, which is a lie, because I won 2 games, she won 1, and we had to cut the other game half because they opened up a lane for us to go bowling. So,
you know, I haven't played pool in a long, long time. I love to play pool, but I just haven't played it in a long, long time. So yeah, I'd love to go play pool.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me too. My pool stick disappeared with my last wife.
I wonder what she was doing with that pool stick.
I still have my so-called antique stick. The stick's older than I am. Serious.
Oh, yeah.
The stick is older than me. I didn't think there was anything that was that old, but
collecting dust already, I see. Alright, so I think tonight we're going to do something a little bit differently because we're only going to be on for an hour broadcast, so we're going to try to do 15-minute segments if we can. If not, then hey, we'll just swing with it. But I think I'm going to let Kevin start tonight, so you want to go into the promotion quick, and then we'll go ahead and let you start that segment, and I'm going to step away for a minute.
Alright, today's show is brought to you in part by Amazon. Get all the greatest deals on electronics, video games, music, audio, books, and much more. Amazon gives you all the greatest deals that you can earn up to 20 to 50% off some of the hottest merchandise by heading on over to our official website, www.102dlgradioorlando.com. Then click on the Amazon banner and get started shopping today. Amazon has everything you need from A to Z. Alright, so if you read the blog this week that I posted on the DLG Facebook page, I was kind of playing off of what we did last week with the concentration camps in the U.S. and the conspiracy theories and all. So I wanted to know, why do people believe in conspiracy theories? Why is it that you can throw something out there that may not have any basis in fact or may not even be plausible, yet people will believe it? So, you know, I don't know about you, Mike, but I have a hard time believing stuff without seeing any kind of facts. You know, if I don't see facts, I'm not going to start buying it until I do. How do you feel about conspiracy theories?
Well, you read my post, I'm sure, what I put about fact. It's fantasy over fact. That's what conspiracy is. It's I believe a conspiracy is nothing more than something that's unproven, and meaning unproven to the average person's belief. Now, we can't change belief, we can't change a lot of things, but fact is fact. So a conspiracy is something that is still not factually proven yet, correct?
That is correct. I mean, you know, there are some bits and pieces that could be fact, and you know, what I decided to research was the top 10 most believed conspiracy theories in the U.S. I didn't want to take it outside the U.S. because sadly I think most Americans have no clue what happens outside these borders, which is to their detriment. But the number one, and you probably will believe this, what do you think, you read the article, so you probably do know, the number one biggest conspiracy theory that people believe is that the 9/11 terrorist attacks were staged.
Yeah, and I've heard that and heard that and heard that. First of all, it's kind of hard to stage a jet flying into a building, simultaneously a second plane coming in, simultaneously hitting the other building. Now they say that it was a demolition factor that took down the. In your report, that it was more demolition that took those buildings down simultaneously. why they felt that it was an inside a conspiracy. So I can't buy into that. There was too much planning that went into that on the terroristic side. I mean, they didn't just hijack one plane or two planes. They hijacked planes all around us. I mean, so that you're saying that it's a conspiracy that they hijacked the plane that went into the what was the building in D.C. they hit? The Pentagon, yeah. Flew into the Pentagon. Now, and then the plane that never made it that went down that was headed for the White House. We're not gonna attack our own Pentagon as a nation, you know, and just ignore that, right? So how can they say that we allowed the Twin Towers to go down? The reason the Twin Towers were hit is because it was the biggest world movement, the most worldly building in the world, called the World Trade Center for a reason, where our economic factors take place for many countries. That's the epicenter of everything that takes place in this world, as far as monies, banking, stocks, everything goes through the World Trade Center. So by the terrorists hitting those buildings, I believe it was terrorists for that one reason, because they affected everybody around the world with one action.
True.
And that's what was meant to happen. The fact that we supposedly ignored it so it would happen, I just can't buy into that. That's just...
I have a difficult time believing that too, but if you go out and you Google 9/11 conspiracy, if you're not willing to do the research, meaning, you know, you're willing to take things at face value, you know, there are some pretty compelling arguments being made that it is a conspiracy. Not that I buy into it, because I don't. But there are some pretty compelling cases that are made that aren't backed up by evidence, but, you know, you could see in the Mythbusters world where it might be plausible. Unlikely, but plausible.
Well,
so
anything's plausible. Anything's plausible. But show me facts beyond a reasonable doubt, and then I'm going to buy into it. But you have to really prove your case with me for me to believe a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Just like... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, just like the bombing of Pearl Harbor, what's stated there, buying us so we could get into World War II. We could have got into World War II many other different ways without having that take place.
That's true. Now, there is evidence to suggest that we might have known an attack was imminent, but Pearl Harbor was not the target.
Exactly. And that's been said through history.
Right. There was some indication that it would be somewhere out in the Pacific that might occur, somewhere like the Philippines.
Well, that's where it was supposedly stated, was they thought they were going to hit the Philippines.
And that's true. Now, the second one on the list, I actually somewhat buy into this conspiracy theory. And somebody from your neck of the woods was the one that's kind of placed the idea that this might be a conspiracy, and that's the Kennedy assassination. Now, Kennedy on November 23rd, 1963, I think.
Correct.
Was killed in Dallas, Texas by Lee Harvey Oswald.
Supposedly.
And the theory is that from the Texas Book Depository, Oswald, who was a former Marine, fired a shot, hit Kennedy in the head. It went through Kennedy's head and into the governor of Texas, whose name slips me right now. I think it was John Conley. Went into Conley somewhere, bounced around, and came out his arm. They call it the magic bullet theory. Now, there was a guy in New Orleans, let me see, Jim Garrison. Jim Garrison was the one who put forward the theory that it was a conspiracy to kill Kennedy. Now, he never specifically said who he felt it was as far as what group, but he did attempt to prosecute someone for the attempted or the assassination conspiracy of President Kennedy. Now, I somewhat buy into this being a conspiracy because it just doesn't seem logical that one bullet fired from that range could kill the president and bounce around in the governor. So there had to be two shots. Do you buy this as a conspiracy theory that's plausible?
Yes.
I do not believe that Kennedy was killed by one man, and I think Oswald was the fall guy. Ruby was contracted by the mob. He was already under mob control, Jack Ruby.
And he was contracted to kill Oswald?
Yeah, I believe so. And I believe it was more of a you kill or we'll kill you. We'll take you out if you don't take him out. I believe that was a mob hit. I believe the mob had something to do with it. Just from some of the stuff that my dad told me that he knew about certain factors about the mob and all that, of that era, what took place. And he was around, heavily into the nightclub scene in New Orleans with all that was going on, in St. Louis and all over. And he believed it was multiple people who killed Kennedy. So, and talking and looking at how things were done, and we're talking about the 60s, with everything that was going on and all the politics behind what was going on with Cuba at the time. I believe it was much more because the mob was tied into the Cuban crisis also. There was a lot of people who stood to lose a lot from Kennedy and the whole family, what their beliefs were.
Well,
So
you can throw in defense contractors because Kennedy's plan was never to get fully involved in Vietnam.
Exactly. We lost Kevin.
Kennedy's plan was, I'll send you some special ops troops, but this is your gig. I don't plan on getting into it. And of course, Lyndon Johnson's from Texas.
Right.
And Lyndon Johnson has quite a few defense contractors that call Texas home. And they could stand to make a ton of money off of war in Vietnam, building weapons and new contracts with the military. So there's a theory that maybe Johnson was even behind this. Now that I find a little bit hard to believe. But
I would if everybody really dug deep enough and it was in the books were really opened up and all the transcripts were really opened up, it was probably much deeper than that also. I mean, I think it went way deeper. It's easier just to say Lee Harvey Oswald shot him and be done with it and lay him to rest and that. But I think he was killed for not just what he knew, but what his plans were to do. And I think it hurt a lot. It was going to hurt a lot of people monetarily, and I think it was going to reshape the face of this nation, what he had planned to do. So, the Kennedys go way back, and they're a very rich family and have a lot of heritage. So you tell me what you think, Kevin.
Well, I think you're right. I think that there was too many people that had too much to lose, and that he had to go. By today's standards, Kennedy would probably be a moderate Republican, which at the time didn't exactly sit well with what was going on in America at the time. So that particular conspiracy theory, I somewhat buy into. That I don't think it was a lone operation, but to pull a line from A Few Good Men and paraphrase it, could we handle the truth? Could the United States of America and the citizens handle the truth?
I don't think at that time they could.
You can't handle the truth, Kevin.
You can't handle it. No, I believe at that time, it probably, being the time and the era that it was, probably not. I mean, go ahead.
I'm not even sure we could handle it today. Can you imagine what we, the people of the United States, would think if we knew that someone could take down the president, plan it, carry it out, and get away with it? I mean, can you imagine that?
Oh, yeah.
And then to learn that it's actually happened and why it happened, I'm not sure we can handle it. I'm not sure we can handle it at all. So I'm not going to go over all the conspiracies that I had because we're, in the 15-minute segment.
Right.
But one I want to get to that's in the news a lot was number 5 on the list. If you're counting, number 1 was the 9/11. Number 2 was the Kennedy assassination. Number 3 was the moon landing. Number 4 was that Area 51 is a secret base and that has aliens. But number 5 on my list was really surprising because the rest of those are kind of old. They've been out there a long time. But number 5 hasn't been out there all that long, only the last 8 or so years. And that's that Barack Obama is not American. He was not born in the United States of America. Well, he's American because he was born to an American parent, but that he was born outside of the U.S., which would make him ineligible to be president. What do you think, Mike? You have some pretty strong opinions on Mr. BHO.
I think this motion, him becoming president, was set far long ago in motion by his dad. I don't think his mother was his mother. I think his mother was a harvesting point, if you really want to talk about conspiracy theories. So he could become the first black president with
Really?
With nationality. And I'll throw that conspiracy theory out there. Because he went to school in Hawaii. He's not. They say you can look back at him. You know, people change over time, but he's not who he was. He also went by a different name, and now he's going by a different name. If you're that proud of your heritage, you always maintain the same name. Now, his father was also, if you read, and I'm almost positive, his father was a extremist back then, when his father was younger, and before his father died, he was an extremist in the Muslim faith. Part of the early years of extremist actions in Africa. So, we're talking about a lot of things happening there that are never seen or talked about. So, if you really want to be a conspiracy theorist, how did his father meet his mother? Was she somewhat involved with all that herself? I mean, two worlds just don't collide that easily. In the way. Not at that time.
No.
So that's and I'll leave it at that. I'm just throwing out things that I've read that are minor conspiracy theories as to, and you can do your research and everything, but that really shocked me. That's why I was so anti-Obama to begin with, because I just think this was all a setup of things that fell into place that were being planned for years and years and years.
I think that, I don't really chime in that much, but I think this whole nonsense that's happening around the world with the economy starting to go haywire. That's been, like you said, in my opinion too. I think that it's been planned. I think things are happening for a reason. So. That's just I'm gonna shut up now. Go ahead, back to you.
Oh, no, that's all right. So to finish out my segment here on conspiracies. So number 5 was the Obama not being born in the United States. Number 6 was that the death of Osama bin Laden was faked to ensure that Barack Obama was elected. Number 7 was that global warming is not a real thing, that it's actually. The theory, there's 2 conspiracy theories there. One is that global warming is actually occurring, and that there are people who believe that's a conspiracy, and then that global warming is not occurring, and there are people who believe that that's a conspiracy. So that's a whole bunch of mess. 8, Mike brought up already, which was that Pearl Harbor was also allowed to occur so that we could enter the war. 9 was that Freemasons are out to take over the world. This is more commonly known as the whole New World Order theory.
Right.
That the Illuminati and the Freemasons have been plotting to overthrow the world and establish a New World Order under one leadership. Number 10, now this one, I don't even know where to go with it, but it surprised me a little bit that autism is directly linked to childhood vaccines. So that was the last conspiracy theory that Americans tend to believe out of the 10 most believed conspiracy theories by Americans.
I could possibly say that I feel the same thing about the vaccine leading to some forms of autism.
I don't know, because there's two ways to look at it. First is that autism really wasn't diagnosed until 1974, and in 1974 they started recognizing it as something different. So, they've been able to go back and look at previous cases, previous adults, children, whatever, and say, okay, the likelihood is they had autism. So, from 74 on, the cases of autism have exploded. Why? Well, it's easy to point to it and say vaccines, that's the reason. But I don't know that I don't necessarily buy that. I just think that the diagnosis has gotten so much more precise that now we're actually sticking an autism label on a kid, and that is leading to more causes of or more cases of autism rather than the whole vaccine thing. I know there have been studies out there that show that the vaccines have nothing to do with it, and then there's some people that say, yeah, it does. But nobody's been able to really point to one thing or another. And when you stop and look at it, autism affects 85% boys, and of those 85%, the vast majority of them are white.
Right.
So one has to wonder.
What race was the highest factor that was vaccinated in my era?
That's true. That's very true, but that doesn't explain it now when all kids are required to be vaccinated.
Well, because if I was vaccinated and I have that in my system, right, and then therefore I procreate and have a child, genetically it's passed on, because at that point in time, all those drugs that enter the system will mute the gene of the cellular structure, just like cancer does. It's a mutation.
Yeah.
All cancer is a mutation of a cell. Okay,
right.
One rogue cell. Now, it takes years and years for you to see the genetic disposition of that mutation being transferred onto other children or your children, and then their children, and so on. Are you with me? So you really don't see the outbreak until years later. You wouldn't necessarily see it in my era, where the vaccine was very popular, and when they stopped giving the vaccine right after I had it is when they kind of stopped that, like you said, in the 70s. So once that stopped, you still had all those children who were now adults having children. The majority of the breakouts and the children in that whole era was the 80s. Children of the 80s and 90s is when it was really, really rampant. Yeah. When you started seeing the autistic factors. So I look at that, why I believe that is so possibly true.
All right. I think the vast majority of parents with autistic kids want to believe that, because they want to have something to point at and say it's that and not me.
Well, it's got to be a solid base. They, like you said, they don't want to feel like it's something they did, and it's really probably not something they did. You can't. When you have a woman and a man get together and you're combining a gene pool in genetics, if you have a gene that is anti compatible with that other person's gene, you're going to have all kind of havoc wreaked within that child's body, because those genes could split. You just don't know the genetic factor. That's why a lot of people now are starting to have genetics done before they marry somebody. And then when you have a child or an adult get sick, they do a genetics test now, saying that you're this much more likely because of your genetic history and your genetic pool to get this, or this. My predisposition for cancer, colon cancer, is so much greater and higher based on my genetic testing that they did on me from my family history and tree. It is 99.9% genetically disposed in our family history. Okay, so that's what they're doing with genetics, and I think genetics has a lot to do with autism, and I think genetics has a lot to do with what's going on also, not just the vaccination. I just think that the vaccination factor led possibly more power to that to take place as far as autism goes than not to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think, which brings up a whole other debate, which is, when women get pregnant, they can have an amniocentesis done, and that will show, is there a likelihood that your child will be born with a birth defect or a learning disability or autism, and then what does the person decide at that point? Do they want to have that responsibility or not? So anyway, so those are my conspiracy theories, and somebody shoot me a line on Facebook or Twitter, and if there's something you want me to look up, I'll be happy to do it.
And just for anybody who's tuning into the program right now, tonight's show is going to be a lot shorter than usual. Usually we go 2 hours, but tonight both of my co-hosts wanted to do an hour show just to kind of see we're kind of just doing an experiment.
Yeah, we're testing. We're doing a test right now.
Yeah, we're doing an experiment to kind of test some things out right now for this show. But before I go on, I want to go ahead and I want to apologize to the professor right now, and I want to apologize to Kevin right now. But I need to do this. Okay, I'm trying to do this broadcast right now, and I am getting my Skype blown up by this gentleman who goes by the name of Super News, whatever the hell he goes by. Stop contacting me on Skype. Stop calling my studio. You done pissed me off. You pushed you pushed the boundaries with me. I try to be respectful. I try to keep it professional, but you're just writing me on Skype telling me check out my show. It's very, very professional, and you're sitting there sharing links on my damn Skype. I don't care about your broadcast. I'm trying to run a business here. I'm trying to run a radio program right now. And all I've been getting all day from you is this damn message after message after message. I have a business to run. You know, I try to keep it cool, and I try to, you know, check out your show and stuff, but you're really pushing your luck. I don't ever break that fourth wall down and give anybody attitude while I'm doing a broadcast. Cut the bullshit. I don't have time for it.
This is a direct reflection upon stalking. And Roksar, whatever your name is, you need to stop. I don't think you understand that the stalking rules that apply to the FCC broadcasting. The internet is no different, and you can get in a lot of trouble for that. So when you're asked to stop, cease, and desist, you need to, because you are facing a lot of different issues that you don't want to get into.
I'm going to give you a quick example. I broadcasted on Sunday. He called into my show. I gave him the opportunity to talk. And I was saying, hey, you know what? You want to advertise your show? That's fine. I understand you're a new broadcaster. You want to, whatever. I let them advertise their show. Then he said to me, oh, well, are we live on iHeartRadio right now? I said, not for this broadcast. And he was like, well that kind of sucks, because if we were on iHeartRadio, then I could have got all your listeners to come over to my show. What kind of bullshit is that?
Get your listeners yourself. We're not your avenue to boost your listener pool. Put in the hard work like we have, and then maybe you'll see the results.
I worked 5.5 years in radio to build my audience. For one person to come into my show to advertise yours, I gave you the respect. But once you knock down those walls and you start to really push the boundaries, you're really pushing your luck. You're messing with the wrong person.
There's such thing as called broadcaster professionalism, and
he's going out there saying he's
blowing it up.
He's a news reporter and he's worked for news stations or whatever. Look, more power to you. If you've done it, you've done it. If you haven't, you know, you need to work as hard as we have.
Exactly.
Don't go and disrespect anybody other's program or broadcast, because let me tell you something. Somebody else is going to be worse than I am right now, and they're going to put you in your damn place.
Exactly.
Enough said. Sorry about that.
But, you know, that's okay. You know, we can't let that affect us. But him calling your private number and calling certain other factors, you are hinging on the lines of stalking. It is illegal and can be dealt with in a prosecutorial manner. So I hope you get the message that you need to stop. If you call his phone number one more time, we may press charges.
I have the show recorded from Sunday. So
we may have to press charges to have you stopped as a stalker under the stalker laws. And we can and will do it. So just take heed of that note.
All right. So I apologize, guys. I didn't mean to blow up like that, but it was just really pushing my luck. He just kept pushing me while you guys were talking about your time.
I got
That's why I wasn't chiming in, and I was getting really frustrated on this end. So
that's all right. Well, no, I told you, don't let it bother you.
In actuality, it was a pretty good thing that DJ wasn't chiming in, because that's one of the other things that we're going to try coming up in the future, listeners, is we're going to do more of the Mike and I and less of the DJ, because you hear DJ a lot. You hear him throughout the week on all his various broadcasts, and last week, I'm going to give you a little inside to our after show, if you will, was that Lewis floated the idea that he'd kind of like to see us, Mike and I, take over the weekly rundown a little bit more and make it more about the two of us and less about him. He would still be there, obviously, because, you know, we can't do the show without him, because he's got to be there just for us to have something cute to look at every night.
Hey!
So, anyway, so that's something else, and the way we're going to get better, you know, I mean, we're already a pretty good show, if I do say so myself, but the only way we're going to get better is if you let us know what you like. You know, do you like the hour format? Do you like more Mike and I? Do you like less Mike and I? What do you like? So let us know. I mean, you guys are kind of being the guinea pig this week.
So I just want to better explain, you know, I said to these guys behind the scenes off the air, you know, I already do 3 shows. I do the weekly rundown with you guys, which I have tons and tons of fun with. Then I have the Friday show that I do, which is the music request show. And then on Sunday mornings, I do or Sunday evenings, whatever you want to call it, the morning show. And I like what I'm doing. And I think right now, I'm going to tell you, if you look at our ratings for the weekly rundown since we began earlier this year with this program, this is probably one of the top rated programs out there right now in broadcasting on iHeartRadio and all those other networks. So I said to the fellas, I said, I want to take a step back, let these guys have this show, because originally this show was supposed to be Mike's thing. Mike came to me, he says, hey, you know, I would like to do my own show, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, cool, you know, I'll help you guys get started. We brought on Kevin, and I think him and Kevin make a great pair, a great team. And now it's time for me to take that step back. I'll still be on the broadcast, but I probably will not be getting in the subject as much. Or like if for some reason, like if Mike is sick or Kevin's sick, and if I need to fill in, that's fine. If Shakira wants to jump in, she can too. But, you know, I think these guys deserve their own shows. And right now I'm looking to slowly pass over the weekly rundown to them so they can go do what they want to do with it. If they want to do sports or whatever they want to do, that's fine. Right now my focus is building Friday nights and building Sunday mornings. Weekly rundown is where it needs to be already. So, and that's why I'm trusting you guys with the responsibility to keep this great ship afloat.
And we're just gonna be testing the waters until we go on our break here coming up soon. But once our break's over, me and Kevin plan on having it formatted to the right time frame and everything, as far as how long we're gonna go, and lead the topics and everything. And then DJ will just be doing all the producing in the background for us. So that being said, I haven't been blogging a lot because of my health and a lot of other things going on in my life right now. But I put out there a blog, and it's today on our Facebook page, and shared it on the Facebook page, and it'll be on our 102 DLG Radio Orlando page.
By the way, the website is updated. I knocked it out of the park the other day. Just saying.
Okay, just saying. So DJ updated it, but it'll be on our actual website page also here probably within the next couple of days. And I made some challenges out there to our listeners, anybody reading the post, and it deals with being a better person, really. I'm just upset with just how our nation and and the world in general is going right now. And every time I turn on the TV, every time I go on the internet, I'm reading about how this bad thing happened here, this murder occurs here, this terrorist act occurs here, the economy's bad, this is going on, that's going on. I'm not reading much of anything that is good. But I don't know how many of you get a good sense of feeling about helping other people, paying it forward. I'm a firm believer, and if someone does something good for you, pay it forward, do something good for someone else.
Exactly.
Buy that person something to eat.
But sometimes when you pay it forward, people take advantage of that, like this other gentleman.
Well, you know what? When you're paying it forward, you're not paying it forward to make them feel better. You're paying it forward because it's something that makes you feel good about doing for someone else, without regards to what is in it for me. You know, there's so many people out here who do something for somebody expecting something good to happen to them because they did something. You may not realize it's coming back to you threefold, but you don't see it right away. It's not meant when you help someone to see anything. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But get that sense of feeling. Be a better person. The only way we can be a better country, a better world, and stop all the hunger, and stop all the killings, and stop all the terrorism, and stop all the hate, and stop this and stop that, all the bad things in our society, is by doing something good. If we can change, just make one person's life better for a day, maybe they can help make someone else's life better for a day. If that catches on, man, we might actually start seeing the news become news again about good things, not just bad things happening.
Shakira just brought up a good point. She says, I feel the same way every time I watch the news, because 98% of the time, it's nothing but bad news on television. So.
How depressing is it before you go to bed at night and you watch how this person died, and that person was killed, and this took place, and this person was robbed, and this person was scammed, and this was this, and this was that. Guys, I carry a gun for a reason. I'm scared. Not for myself, but for what's around me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's incredible how many people are killed and shot just by being a bystander, or how many people are taken advantage of or robbed because somebody feels like they want what you have. They're not willing to work for what they have. I talk about noise taking place on the news and on TV. And in general in life, noise is the negative that's going on around us. All that interference that has no place for where it's at. It's like a negative vibe coming through the airwaves. It's like a negative vibe coming through our TVs. It's like a negative vibe that people are speaking, but they're not really understanding that they're saying it or doing it. They're just doing it out of almost a normalcy now that it's a negative atmosphere in our country. We need to change that vibe. We need to change that noise to a positive noise. Is everybody with me?
I think what frightens me more than anything is that, and I'm guilty of it, I will flat out admit it, that news doesn't affect me anymore. I just come to expect it. I come to see that it's not good, and that's why I don't watch the news a lot. I read probably 15 to 20 different internet newspapers a day. So
you're a busy man.
I get my news elsewhere, but the sad thing for me is that it doesn't faze me anymore. It just doesn't faze me. I see a story about, here in Jacksonville, we had a little kid disappear, and it turns out that his mother's boyfriend is probably behind his disappearance and death. And, well, that affected me. It just didn't surprise me anymore. Nothing surprises me. Nothing, and it's sad that we've gotten to a point where that doesn't affect me emotionally anymore. And I think that's what frightens me more than anything else. And, as far as positives go, this week, I guess it was yesterday it had to be yesterday. It was Monday. Yesterday, September 14th, Bobby Jindal, the governor of Louisiana, declared it, a day of praying for the police, and citizens across the state of Louisiana, no matter what religion they were, kind of said a prayer or kind of respected officers for the job they do, and I thought that was kind of nice. That's a start. It's a start to, we got to recognize that everybody has a purpose in life, and that their purpose might not be something you necessarily agree with, but you have to understand that they're there for a reason. Whether that be the guy that picks up your garbage, whether it be the lady in front of the room teaching the class, everybody has a reason they're there. And basically, all of us are good. I want to believe that. All of us are good. It's just, we need to find that in people. Mike's hit it on the head, man. Mm-hmm. I open doors for people. I don't care whether you're a guy, girl, or what. If you're walking through the door behind me, I hold it to make sure that your butt gets through it. Because that's just rude to shut the door in their face. And who knows? That one person you smile at, it might change their whole day. I talk to people all the time when I'm at University of North Florida. I get that I'm the crazy silver-haired old guy on campus. I get it. I don't care. They know I'm the one that comes by and talks to them. Some people turn and try to hide, but you know what? I just don't... I've gotten to a point in my life where I don't let that kind of shit bother me anymore. And I don't curse very often, especially not on the program, but I just don't let that bother me anymore. I don't care what your sexual preference is. I don't care what your race is. All I care is that you're a person. And being a person, you deserve a certain modicum of respect from me. And I'm going to treat you nice until you spam my Skype.
Exactly. And it goes back to the old adage, lives matter. I'm tired of seeing Black Lives Matter, these type of lives matter, this group's lives matter. Lives in general matter. We were all put here on this earth. We were all born for a purpose. With a purpose, I hope that you've come to the point where you have a purpose, your own purpose while you're here, and what you want to accomplish while you're here. And why can't we all just learn how to get along? I mean,
Rodney King said it.
You know, I can walk down the street without fear. I shouldn't have to worry about what neighborhood I'm in to walk down the street without fear. But unfortunately, I'm smart enough to understand that I'm not going to put myself in a bad place that's asking for trouble. Meaning, we're not to the point yet where every neighborhood is safe. It should be. But we have no control over that to a certain degree. So by helping these areas and everybody doing their share by doing something for somebody, maybe, just maybe, we can have a lot more good take place than we have bad. And that's all I'm striving to focus on and look at, and hope that everybody gets that message, that by maybe walking that little old lady across the street makes your day. You know, I was a Boy Scout. I was a Star Scout. You know, a few badges away from Eagle. And we used to have to do penance, basically penance for our badges, to get those badges and do good things. And it was, Boy Scouts was all built on the humanity and goodness of all. So I think we need to start with our youth and start practicing that with our youth more than, you can't change old dogs sometimes, but you can change their children. So I think that's where it's going to start.
And that's the thing, because I mean, here in this house, you know, when my son comes to talk to me about an issue, I'm as open-minded and as non-judgmental as I can possibly be, because I don't want him to grow up in a world where he sees somebody with dreadlocks and thinks he's a thug, or somebody with a Confederate flag and thinks he's a racist. I don't want that. I want him to grow up in a world where he sees the guy with dreads as somebody with individual style. That's what I want. And, you know, we had this discussion about that in class today. You know, you can't look at a group of kids and assume they can't learn because they're poor. You can't do that.
Right. And you know, like you said, you shouldn't have to walk down the other side of the street because you're worried about what's on your side of the street. You should be able to walk where you want based on that, you know, not worried about. And that's profiling. And people do profile people today, and it's a fact, because they're scared because of what's taking place with certain factors as far as certain groups, races, and so on and so on. But you can't let that bother you. You have to go on with life being yourself, who you are, not afraid to talk to anybody because of fear of retaliation of what they think or feel. So if you don't have anything kind to say, don't say it.
And to a certain extent, we got to stop being so darn hypersensitive.
Exactly.
You know, somebody tells a fat joke, I don't care anymore. It doesn't bother me. It's not personal. It's funny. You know, I used to take offense to that, but now I don't care. You know, it doesn't matter because it's in humor. Now, I mean, if you're being gross about it, then that's different. But, you know, overall, you know, I have a comedian friend of mine who tells me that his job is really hard now because he's always afraid that he's going to say something that will offend somebody. And I tell him, well, then how can you do what you do? Because, I mean, comedy's about being offensive, isn't it?
Exactly. Freedom of speech.
We got to stop being so hypersensitive. Take people at face value. And, you know, until they blow up your Skype or harass your phone, then, you know, just cope with them.
Well, you know, that's what, not just you or I mean, that's on the airwaves, that's in public, that's... The political correctness has got to stop. I mean, everybody's got to be political. You see people's careers ruined because they said something they really felt, you know, that not in a mean way, but that's just kind of they're making light of what the situation is. Now they're a racist, or now they're this, or now they're that because they said it. They said what everybody else was afraid to say, and now they're getting basically chastised for it, losing their job, and so on and so on. And it's just incredible that that's happening because everybody's so afraid to be unpolitically correct. They want you to be politically correct. So now we're not being who we are or who we could be. We're being we're doing everything with our hands tied behind our back, and that's wrong too.
Yeah.
And if it's done in jest and not meant in a harmful way, I don't see anything wrong with it. So I'm sorry. Maybe I'm old. Maybe I'm just
yeah, you're old.
Set in my ways. But
I think this has just become part of the noise you're talking about.
Exactly, it is.
You know, it's become part of that white noise that it just happens. You know, that's why I don't watch the news, man. I read. I don't watch. I don't. This is going to sound so bad considering that I'm on a show that posts this on YouTube. I don't do videos. I don't do videos very often. I prefer to read the story and then watch the video because I want to read it for myself, form my own opinion, and then watch the video. And usually I'm right, but sometimes the person reading the story or telling the story puts a spin on it that changes the meaning.
Exactly.
So I think that's part of the noise you're talking about. So hopefully you guys like this 1 hour format this week.
Yeah. We'll see, and hopefully we can fine-tune this and get it down even more perfect than it is. But I think we did a pretty good job tonight. We stayed just about within our hour. It's time to go, and I'd like to say thank you to all our guests for listening tonight. And Kevin, any final thoughts?
I want to thank DJ for producing the show and maintaining his cool back there. You know, I know it wasn't easy, but he didn't break anything, and he didn't find someone to break yet.
Whoa.
But no, and basically I want to thank you guys who watch our show on YouTube every week or on any of our channels every week and listen to us. Thanks for doing it, because we like what we do, and we want you to like what we do. So let us know. I mean, we're not afraid of feedback. We're not afraid of hearing what you think and what you want. So somewhere out there on all these links is our Twitter addresses and our Facebook page. So interact with us. Come on, talk to us. We don't bite unless you ask nicely.
I just love it.
So when I was a teacher, I used to challenge my kids. So any of you watching this video or listening out there, no matter what time of week it is, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to do something that maybe you're not comfortable with. I'm going to challenge you to say hello to someone you ordinarily would not speak to. Whether that be a coworker, whether that be a person of a different race, different sexual orientation, whatever. I want you to say hello or wish someone good morning or have a nice day to somebody that you probably wouldn't ordinarily talk to. Go out of your way and try it once. You'll be surprised how good you feel and how good they feel too.
And I just want to say, lastly, before I'll let you guys jump in again, but I just want to let everybody know, thank you guys again so much for tuning to the broadcast. Like I said, I will be taking a step back and letting these guys go at it each and every single week on Tuesday nights. I'm going to continue. We're going to continue this talk concerning stalking on Sunday's morning show because I got some emails and some personal comments via Facebook on private message that I want to read. But I'll get to that on Sunday, so you guys can tune in for that broadcast. It'll be a very entertaining one, and it'll be cool to get you guys to drop in. You know, one of the Sundays you guys are not busy, kind of
cool.
Listen in and stuff. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. But don't forget, we'll be broadcasting on October the 30th, 24 hours live, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're broadcasting up to the 31st till 8 p.m. and I'm gonna go enjoy freaking Halloween. And then when we'll be going off the air sometime mid-November, and then we'll be back January 5th, I think it is. But that's all I got to say.
All right.
Okay. I want to leave this show right now. Everybody have a positive week. Everybody think positive for the week, and do something positive for the week. Positivity, as they say, it takes 10 pounds of positive energy to outweigh 1 pound of negative energy. So be positive.
And that, my friends, is the weekly rundown. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. And if you guys enjoy what we do here, please hit that like, that subscribe button, whatever location it's going to be in on YouTube or wherever you guys are listening to this broadcast at. And don't forget, please, guys, it is most important. If you guys enjoy our show, spread the love, let people know about our broadcast. Feel free to donate to our program, become a sponsor. We always love sponsors. So thank you guys so much. Until next time, I'll let you guys take us out.
Peace.
Peace. Y'all have a great week.
Today's show is brought to you by our great friends at Amazon.com. Get all your latest gadgets, appliances, and so much more. For those special deals, head on over to our official website, www.102DLGRadioOrlando.com, and click on the Amazon icon today. Get your special deals today. Shop your way with eBay and get your goodies today. Get all your special deals by going over to our official website, www.102DLGRadioOrlando.com. Click on that eBay icon and get started today. What's up, guys? DJ Friction here to remind you, if you really enjoy what we do here at 102.DLG Radio, take the time to support our program by going over to our official website, www.102DLGRadioOrlando.com, and donate today. That's right, son of y'all. Go on over and donate today and show your love for the show, y'all. And we'll keep doing what we do here. Much love.